Welcome to part 3 of our guide to CH Studio. In part 3 we're going to look at how an investor can screen indices, i.e. compare performances and correlations, etc. when investigating the number of indices on the platform. Probably the easiest way to illustrate this is to just use an example. So say we're looking or interested in sort of allocation strategies that look to choose how many bonds and equities you have, etc. And so we'll just click on portfolio allocation in index type, click apply, and here we have a series of indices that all do that job. So first, click screening. Let's look at Alpha V's, core top 5 sector ETF and treasuries. Let's look at JP Omega's US cross asset. And as I mentioned before, click through if you want to know more details about these ideas. Let's look at the Ned Davis Research Smart Sector Model. And let's look at Smooth Sailing US Stock and Bond. So we have 4 indices there on the right hand side. Let's first thing look at the performance statistics. We should view that, for example, over 3 years. We're interested in the NAVs, and to make it a fair comparison, let's use the same volatility, 10%. Click create. And here is the information that you're after. So we can see the key statistics for each of the indices, and we can also see a chart that shows the performance of the 4, and putting your mouse over the chart you can see the names. So here we have Alpha V, Smooth Sailing, Smart Sector, JP Omega. If we go back and we could do another screening. For example, how correlated are these strategies? Is there a big benefit from using a combination, or there is not as much value in that? So we look at the same 4 again, we look at correlation, look over 3 years. Wait a second for it to calculate, and we can see, well, not surprisingly, there is a reasonable degree of correlation, but 50%, 60%, it really isn't that high either, given that they're looking at the same ideas, which is basically a combination of bonds and equities. There's also a second way to look at performance, and that's looking at all the indices on the platform. And say we're thinking about an idea of annualized return, for example, of all the indices. What's the top performing index on the platform? And here we can see some quite strong returns, and we have the list. You can go through the list of all the performers, or maybe we're interested in the Sharpe ratio. The money market fund, of course, doesn't make much sense as a Sharpe ratio, but then we're looking at some very high performers. So this is a way to do an overview of the overall platform rather than looking at a specific idea. We can, of course, look at passive indices. Again, look at annual return. Look at ETFs. whole series of ETFs. We can even look at a series of cryptocurrencies. So we think this is also quite a powerful tool to just have an overview of everything on the platform. So what we've done is to illustrate two very good ways to compare indices on the platform. One, if you're looking at a specific idea, looking at screening, we're saying I'm interested in this case in indices which focus on allocation. And the other way really is a more global solution, where what we're doing to do is look at all the indices on the platform, who's performing well, who has great risk return. Both of these are very good ways to learn more about the indices on the platform. Thank you.